Hello friends, good morning and welcome to this new class, and we will go ahead with our physical features of our mother country India, and we will learn how this land originated, how it was formed and so on. So in the last class we had a little bit of discussion about how the different features of the land originated, how the mountains are formed, how the valleys are formed, how the plains are formed, and so on. So we continue with that, and you can see, you can follow in your textbook page number 8. We study about the little general knowledge that is there. We'll start with that. So, do you know? Most volcanoes and earthquakes in the world are located at plate margins, but some do occur within the plates. So, most of the volcanoes or earthquakes, they occur at the margin of the plate, at the side of the plate. Because sometimes it can take place in other places also, or in the middle of the plate also, but most of them, majority of them occur at the corner or at the side of the plate. We said the lands are, the crust of the earth is made with different plates. So at the joining place or at the side of the plate, these earthquakes or volcanoes take place. Then we are talking about the different landmass, and we say the oldest landmass, that is the Peninsula part, is the oldest landmass. It was part of the Gondwana land. So the Peninsula part of India, that was part of this Gondwana land. Though it was one of the oldest mass. So all these things we are talking about happened millions of years ago, not just last year or previous year or 100 years ago, but of millions of years ago. So this Peninsula region of India, that belonged to this Gondwana land. So among the lands in India, the peninsular part of the land is the oldest landmass. Other places, they are relatively new. They may be few millions of years old, but this one, the peninsular part, is several millions of years old. So we shall study that. We shall see the map as well. I hope you are able to see. Okay, so the peninsular part, that is the lower part of India, that is part of the Gondwana land, and that is the oldest landmass in the world, we can say. So when we say Gondwana land, in olden times or several millions of years ago, it was such a large or huge landmass. For example, the Gondwana land included India, Australia, South Africa, South America as one single landmass. Now all these are different continents. India is in one continent, then Australia is in another continent, that itself is a continent, then South Africa, South America. So all these four big landmass, they were together as a single landmass. So we can imagine how big the land might have been when all these four regions come together. Which are they? India, Australia, South Africa, and South America. These four big, huge regions were part of one land. And what is the name of that land? Gondwana land. So the conventional current split the crust into number of pieces. So we know under the earth it is so hot. That's why sometimes volcanoes are not coming up. It is because of the pressure. the plates are going on moving. Some are moving this way, some are moving this way, some are moving upward, downward. So because of this movement of the plates, the pressure under the earth is so high and it is melting the inner crumb of the earth. And because of that conventional current, so that because of that conventional means that heat under the earth. So because of that heat, the land mass that was just a single unit, that was split into many pieces. It was split into many pieces. That is how the present land mass has formed. Before they were all together, but now they are all separated because they were split because of the immense heat, the high temperature that was under the earth. Thus leading to the drift of Indo-Australian plate after being separated from Gondwana land towards north. So because of this heat, the Gondwana land was divided or broken into pieces, and the piece that was containing India and Australia, they were pushed to the northern side. Other ones were sent to different directions. So the land that was joining India and Australia, they were pushed towards the northern side. Then the northward drift resulted in the collision of the plate with much larger Eurasian plate. So the land area of India and Australia, they were moving towards the north. Then it went and hit another big piece of land there, that is the Eurasian plate. Another big land mass was there called Eurasian plate, and so this India-Australia plate went and hit on Eurasian plate. Then what happened? So such a huge land mass, if they come and hit each other, collide each other, there is a heavy force is there, a heavy power is there. Then the sedimentary rocks which were accumulated in the geocycling known as Gatis were folded to form the mountain system of Western Asia and Himalaya. So when these two heavy land masses were collided each other, what happened? A lot of sediments were there, lot of things became powder. Such a huge power force is there. They hit together and lot of powder, lot of sediments were there. And what happened? These sediments were accumulated in the geocycling. Geocycling means that low area. So it is like a valley. So all these powder came and filled in this valley, got accumulated there. Because of this collision, all came and accumulated in that valley called geocycling, and that valley is known as Tethys. So it was accumulated in the Tethys, and then the folded and were folded. So they were folded, like folded. So they were folded and it became higher and higher, and it became a mountain. What mountain? The famous mountain system of Himalaya. So that is why the Himalaya mountains are called fold mountains. We say when we talk about Himalaya, in the later classes we will study, and we realize the Himalayan mountains are called fold mountains because they were formed by being folded. Because of the two big land masses hitting each other, and because of that force, the sediments, rocks, everything was gathered or deposited in Tethys, and then it was folded, and slowly it went high. So when two things are coming and hitting together, it can be folded like this. Then the mountain went high. That is how the famous mountain called Himalaya is formed. I hope you follow. So that is how the Himalaya mountains formed. So why this Gondwana land was divided into many pieces? It was because of the high pressure that was under the earth, and it was drifted into too many pieces, and the piece that was containing India and Australia, they moved towards the north, and it went and hit on another landmass or plate called Eurasia. And because of that collision, there was so much of power was there, lot of rocks and other things were powdered, and all that were settled in a small valley like Tethys, and then later they were folded up and it became a mountain, high mountain, the highest mountain we can say, the Himalayas. So that's why Himalayas are folded mountains. It was formed by being folded the different plates of the earth. Then the Himalayan uplift of the Tethys Sea and subsidence of the northern flank of the Peninsula plateau resulted in the formation of large basin. So we said now the soil or the rock or the plate was hit together, then it was folded, and then what happens? All these sides the soil went up. Let's say for example, so the mountains, Himalayan mountains, they are folded up. So what happened? All these sides will be like a valley. So all the soil from here it went up. So this place became vacant, empty. This place nothing is there. So both sides it created valley, because from here the plane went up and both sides became like a valley. And then what happened? So it was formed like a large basin. You have seen basin, plains or containing water and so, isn't it? So because of this Himalaya getting folded up, the sides became like a basin, like a valley. Then in the due course of time, this depression, so this is called depression. From here the land was taken away to go higher. So this area is depressed, become low. So gradually got filled with the deposition of sediments by the rivers flowing from the mountains in the north and in the peninsula plate in the south, plateau in the south. So naturally we know mountain top will have so many rivers, and Mount Himalaya also has got so many rivers are there, and this is so high, the rivers are flowing very fast, and when the rivers are flowing, what happens? They carry lot of sediments, lot of soil also they bring, and what happens to that soil? They come and drop here. All the rivers bring lot of soil, they drop here. So they drop all this soil here, and so this valley got filled up slowly. This valley got filled up with the soil that is coming down from the mountain top together with the river water. So the rivers are flowing not only from the north, the Himalaya is in the north, not only from the north but also from the southern side. Some rivers are flowing towards the north. So all these rivers, they are bringing a lot of sediments, they are bringing a lot of soil, and they are depositing here. So the area that was so depressed, so low, now it has become a plain area. That's why we call it northern plains. So this area millions of years ago it was a very deep place, but now it has become a very fertile area for agriculture. It is called northern plains. Then a flat land of extensive alluvial deposits. So the river that is bringing what kind of soil? Alluvial soil. So the soil that the rivers are bringing down, or the soil that you will find in these northern plains, that is what it is. So all this area will be filled with alluvial soil. It is very good for cultivation. And that alluvial deposits led to the formation of northern plains of India. So the northern plains are formed in this way, together with the formation of Himalaya. The depression was caused, the valley was created, but slowly, because of the work of the rivers, a lot of soil was brought down from the mountain tops and also from the Peninsula region, and slowly that valley was filled up. Now it is all filled with alluvial soil, and the vast area is created, which is very good for cultivation. Then the land of India displays great physical variation. So we are all aware about the physical features of our country. We have already in the beginning of the lesson we said we have mountains are there, valleys are there, plains are there, deserts are there, islands are there. So we have a lot of varieties are there. No place of India is same. There is a lot of variety, different varieties of land or different features are there in our country. So we will be studying about all those things in the coming days. And for today we say that India is just got a great physical variation. There is a lot of differences there in the physical features of our country. Then the land, geologically, the Peninsula Plateau constitutes one of the ancient landmasses of the Earth's surface. So we said in the beginning that the Peninsula region, that is the southern part of region India, that was part of this Gondwana land, which is the oldest mass, and therefore in India the Peninsula Plateau is the oldest landmass. We can underline. Peninsula Plateau is the oldest landmass in India, and it was supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks. So it was one of the stable land blocks. The land was very stable. Then the Himalayas and the northern plains are the most recent landforms. So southern part, the Peninsula Plateau is the oldest landform, and which is the newest one or latest one? It is the Himalaya mountain and the northern plain. They are all formed later. So the Peninsula Plateau was there all the times before the drift taking place, before the partition taking place. The Peninsula Plateau was already there, but the Himalayas and the northern plains and all, they are of recent origin, and that they occurred only recently, not very old. And from the viewpoint of geology, Himalayan mountains form an unstable soil. So if you study, if you speak in a geological way, that means people who are studying geology, the earth, they will say the land or the soil of the Himalayan mountain, that is not at all steady. They are very unsteady. What is the reason? We said the soil was formed of recent origin. Soil is of recent origin, while the Peninsula Plateau, that is of the oldest, that soil is very hard. But the soil of this Himalayan mountain, the northern plains, that is all very fresh soil, not very old. Then the whole mountain system of Himalaya represents a very youthful topography with high peaks, deep valleys and fast flowing rivers. So if you go to Himalaya and observe, we will realize the Himalaya has got a very youthful topography. Youthful means very young. The topography means the shape of the earth, the top part of the mountain. They are very young. That means the soil is very new, not very old at all. And they have got high peaks. Some places it's very high peak. We know Everest. Everest is in Himalaya. It is the highest peak in the world. And there are also valleys within the Himalayas. So high peaks are there, valleys are there. Then there are fast flowing rivers. There are some rivers originating from Himalaya and they are flowing very fast. So the speed of the river depends on the slope of the surface. If the mountain is very steep, the river will flow very high, very fast. If the mountain is not very steep, towards the lowest part of the mountain, it becomes very low. Not very steep, but the slope becomes very low. So that way, the river, the speed will be reduced. But the top parts, the mountains are very steep, therefore the river is flowing very fast. So that is the special feature of this Himalaya. What are they? They have high peaks, very low valleys, deep valleys, and high flowing rivers. These are the three special features that we can find in Himalaya. Then the northern plains are formed of alluvial soil, that we have already said. The soil that the rivers are bringing down, they are what kind of category? What kind of soil? They belong to alluvial category, alluvial soil. And so the northern plain is filled with alluvial soil which is coming down from the mountain, Mount Everest. Then the Peninsula plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with the gently rising hills and wide valleys. So if you go to this Peninsula plateau, that is towards the south, what will you find? You will find the plateau is composed of igneous rocks. Igneous means the rocks that are formed of lava and so on. So after the erection of volcanoes, a lot of lavas come out and they are melted rocks, very hot, they are melted. And afterwards they will become cool and they will become hard. So that is called igneous rocks. The rocks that are formed out of volcanoes and then cool down and become very hard rocks. So Peninsula Plateau, the rocks are so hard because they are igneous rocks. But on the other hand, we said in Himalaya the soil is so soft, so young. But in the Peninsula Plateau it is very hard. And also they are metamorphic rocks. What is metamorphic rock? The rocks that existed long ago. We said the Peninsula Plateau is the oldest landmass in India, and so they are oldest and they existed before. And in these metamorphic rocks we can find lot of minerals. So if there are metamorphic rocks are there, inside that rock there will be minerals. It was deposited long ago, and because of the pressure that they have turned to be, that high temperature they have turned out to be minerals. So wherever these metamorphic rocks are there, we are sure to find some minerals inside that rock. So that is a specialty of India comparing to north and the south. The north soil is very young, the fountain mountains of Himalayas are there. Then the Peninsula Plateau, as we come this side, the Peninsula Plateau will reach, and there the soil is very hard. We find igneous rocks are there, the rocks that are formed out of volcanoes, the lava and so on. Then also we will find metamorphic rocks which were of the old stop, and out of that pressure the minerals are formed inside this rock. So we shall wind up for today, and in the next class we will learn about one by one the different physical features, the Himalayas, the northern plains, the Peninsula plateau, the islands, the Indian deserts, the coastal plains, all that. So we have 6 divisions are there. We will study one by one, and so I request you to keep reading your textbooks and watch this video and read your textbooks as well. Then only the idea will get stuck to your mind and it will remain there. So don't just ignore it, but work hard, study hard, and get the maximum out of it. So thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.